Good morning. Today is the 8th of May 2024 and I'm going to go through my pre-market checklist and trading plan. Before we start, as always, let's just check today's news. So no major news today. We've got some oil news at 10:30 because you're 2 out of 3. If you're in oil stocks, be wary. And then we've got Fed speakers today, 11, 11:45 and 1:30. Plus we do have the 10-year note auction as well, which could move the market as done before. Okay, so that's it for news today. So before we start, let's go over the daily, and we're looking at the ES chart, which is the S&P 500 futures, and on the daily time frame. So we sold off, we pulled back, but one thing to note on this sell-off, we sold off and we had high volume as we were selling off, and then notice the lower volume on the pullback, and more recently as we've been pulling back, volume's been declining as well, and we had really 2 low volume days, which if you look at the chart you can see. So that's today. You got that very small low volume candle yesterday, top and tail, and you had even lower volume but a wider candle yesterday. So that's a bit of an anomaly. So we potentially were looking at a rejection around that area, and if you recall from a few weeks ago, we've marked off this area as well. So we've got this area of daily supply up here, and that's no coincidence that it's bottoms of candles, tops of candles, area of confluence, and it also happens to be, when we draw the fibs from the top down to the bottom, it happens to be the 618 area as well we're watching. So probably no coincidences in the market. Okay, so let's just go into the hourly now and just pick up some levels for today. So we're pulling off. You can see clearly in this hourly we've got a head and shoulders pattern. We've got the left shoulder there, we've got the head up here, and we've got the right shoulder forming there. You could use a 618 as a neckline. I personally prefer to use where we came in, we consolidated there, we came back in, retested it as well. If you look at the 5 minute, you can see a break and retest of that area. So yesterday's low we could use as a neckline, and that leads me to my first level. So what I'm really looking for is a pullback into this area here for a short, and we can see the moving averages are crossed over now. So we've got the 8 crossing the 20, just about to see that behind. So I'm looking for a short around 52.04, 52.05 for the rejection down. If we continue to rip up and we rally through, then I'm watching pre-market high for a break and retest, and then for a long. But we have got yesterday's high as potential resistance, and volume wise, the volume is if we break over the pre-market high. Could you see that over on the left hand side? We have this little volume shelf as well just there, and there's not a great deal of volume before, so we could see it pull right back into this area, hit that volume shelf which is at 52.11, so we can watch that area as well if we push through 52.05. So 52.11 down to 52.17 for a potential rejection, but if we break the pre-market high, then I'll be looking for long entries. The pre-market high is 52.17.50, that area. As for bounces, and we're too close to this, the 618 seems to be a level. It kind of, we broke through it, came back and retested it yesterday. First time we got up to the 618. Remember, this is the daily we looked at, which draws from the all-time high down to recent lows. If we close below pre-market low, maybe I can look for a break and retest short, and with a possible target of 51.70, which is a small area confluence, but with very low volume, so may not stop. Let's just zoom out and see where the volume is. Still a low area of volume as well. So I've got a level at 51.74 target if we're short, or a potential bounce. I'm not a big fan of it purely because of the volume, and I think I would prefer a bounce on this better area of confluence, and that's around 51.50 area. It's a round psychological number. We held it for quite some time a couple of weeks ago. We've tested it on a low pivot there, and we kind of broke it, retested it, but we've yet to come back to retest that area. We've also got the 200 moving average curving around and starting to head back up into that area as well, which can add natural resistance. And if we just zoom in a bit to look at more recent volume on the profile, if you have much volume up, and look at that, and we've got all this volume as well. So we've got the point of control coming in, so you know that's where all the volume is, and that's potentially where we can watch for a bounce. So 51.50 for a bounce, maybe down to 51.40, that entire area. So I'm keeping this green area of demand in, because technically it's a demand area now. It was our supply, and we can see the volume. So that's really the levels. I'll come back to these levels at the end, in case the market moves a bit. Moving on to SPY next. So we sold off a little head and shoulders pattern we discussed. Neckline can be yesterday's low. That's a better neckline there. You can see we held that area of confidence. So if we get back up to yesterday's high, which is 516.53, we can watch that for a short. So that'd be the break and retest of this head and shoulders pattern. If we rip through it, then we can watch for the break and retest of pre-market high and yesterday's high, that area. But note that we are coming into an area of supply, and we've got a bit of supply, and volume wise, got a bit of volume in that area as well. So this is our supply area, 518. So I do quite like 518 to 520 for rejection as well. And then obviously we talked about going long on ES. I really like to see ES, SPX and SPY align with each other. So if we're going to go long, if we're going to go short on ES, then I expect us to be looking for a short or coming into resistance on SPY and ES as well. Yeah, trouble is we're above on SPY right now. We're right in this demand zone, which we are kind of in at the moment. So that's why we quite like watch for a bounce. But if we break out of that, it could pull the SPY up, and it could take it over that area of demand, maybe a little bit higher. But we'll keep an eye on that. So we can watch that for bounce wise. Looking at the volume as well, I'm not a big fan. Maybe a bounce down here in this. We're in this demand zone right now from 15th of April. If we can break and close below pre-market high and pull back, then I'm quite like a short pre-market low. And we've got a bit of a void below until we get to 512.50. That's probably the next bounce area of confidence as well. And we've got a couple of pivots in that area as well. So 512 for a bounce, and then rejection got to be the top end of this 518 to 519 area for a reject. That's it for SPY. Nasdaq next. Okay, so I can see an area of confidence around this area, 18.057, which we're not far off that now, and it's got pivots over here as well, so it is an area of confidence, but there's not much volume in that area from recent month. So if we are weak and we sell through that, the only place I like will be 17.950 or 946 that I've got. So this area, so it's an entire area, this zone, and you can see there's a bit of volume just below as well. So probably like it a bit closer to where we've got more touches or candles on the recent areas. Bottoms, so we zoom in, so you can see we've got lots of touches at the bottoms of these candles. Here's 3 candles coming in, a body coming up, and we've got all these touches here as well. So I do quite like this area for a bounce, and that is 17.914, 17.900. And then as for rejection, back up in this area of supply, you can see the head and shoulders patterns forming. I quite like the break and retest of 18.164 for rejection, similar to the other ones, yesterday's low. And interestingly, look at the moving averages. So the 20 is now crossed down through the 8, and and the 8 has crossed the 50. 50 is just about to cross. I'm sorry, the 20 moving average is just about to cross the 50 as well. So showing potentially that the potentially that means that we're looking for more shorts than we would be looking for long. So shorts are in control of this hourly trend. That's it. The daily on the Nasdaq. Lower volume. We did have a volume spike yesterday, but notice it's higher volume than the previous day, but a third of a size candle. That's an anomaly on itself, showing tug and war between buyers and sellers, and it's an indecision candle as well. And now we've broken the low of yesterday. So we do look like, and we're coming up into this area of supply as well. So these areas have been in place for some time now, and it's a big area of volume up here, point of control. So potentially we were watching for a rejection up here anyway. If we were to sell off, it's hard. There's loads of we're sitting at resistance right now. Sitting at support right now. So this area, bottoms of candles, it's gonna be hard to break through that area. But we've broke. Oh, let's just bring that down a size. So this is the area. Oh, hang on, is it that button? So this is the area. It's going to be hard to break through. 18060, 18080. I meant. Yeah. I think that's probably why we saw the reversal. It's big area of resistance. They've got big volume in that area as well. So we kind of come into the point of control almost perfectly yesterday. So I don't think we're going to break. It's going to be hard breaking through that area, which we're seeing now, and we can reject down. So the next area we can watch, maybe the top of that pivot, which is 17,925 for a bounce. Let's just drop down to the hourly. 17,9. Okay, we're not far off, so in the hourly we've got 17,914, so the same area. Excuse me. So we can watch this area for a bounce still. That goes with a higher time frame as well. And that's it, I really only like that area. I don't really like the confidence in this area. And then I think that's it really to watch. Let's look at Qs. Again, let's look at the daily to see whether that gives us an inclusive. So you can see volume is declining as price is increasing, so that's showing us that it's potentially just a pullback coming into this this 24-year weekly trend line and potentially rejecting it. Well, and I'm just trying to find an area of confluence. This area here, so 435 is a daily area to watch for a. Let's just change that to daily. So 434.50 is a potential bounce area. So let's drop down into the hourly to see where that leaves us. Which is not far off 430. Is it that one? Yeah, 433.06. So this is kind of the area we're watching. I'm gonna leave that. I'm going to fine tune that there, and we don't need that now because we've got the one before. So 433 for bounce, that's the only place I like really. And then rejection, if we can get back up into this area, there's a bit of volume on the volume profile, so maybe a double top at 442 for rejection. But if we do break yesterday's high, we can look for a break and retest to maybe get back up into these all-time highs. Let's just look at SPX. We haven't looked at that today. We normally like to do that after we've done SPY and ES. So areas I'm watching, 5200 psychological number which we rejected. There's another area at 52 at 10. Area confidence, tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots. So, and then so we can watch this area 5210 for rejection, and we can watch for a potential bounce at 5168, and you get tops of pivots over here, bottoms of pivots over here. We kind of held it, retested it, broke it. We've yet to come back down to retest that area, but we'll see where the market opens. We sold off a bit, so if we're below it, it could act as a break and retest short. So I think we'll probably be opening below it anyway. Crude oil, ideal time, 15 minutes to go. Crude oil's come right into our area of supply right now, which I like. This is kind of the area I've been waiting for. Lots of volume, point of control runs through that area as well. So how close did we get to it yesterday? Pretty close. So we pretty much touched the point of control yesterday. And we're writing that down, so that's what time is that? That's after markets anyway. So I noticed oil, biggest moves is usually after market or in the pre-market. So something I want to keep an eye on as I'm normally watching the market. So we've got this trend line. And we're right in the middle of the trend line, so we could look potentially, if we're going to see weakness, continued sell-off, then maybe we won't break the 50% area of this trend line when we'll just stay in this area before we continue down. But if we start spending more time in the top area, we can look for a breakout. And we had a bit of a fake breakout yesterday there. We had a fake breakdown where let's put the actual trend lines in. Useful to have. Oh no, I'll take that back. It wasn't really a fake breakdown. I thought the trend line ended there. So that's okay. So we're going to clone that. Almost cloned identically. So that area, so we had a bit of a fake out and a rejection. Look at that full length of this trend line. So it came all the way down and literally touched the bottom. If you had that drawn in originally, then you found your entry. And we bounced off of that, so pre-market low. Volume wise, let's go on to the daily for a second. So increased volume on the pullback and then decreasing volume. Notice that big volume bar, big wide range bar with a volume bar, so that seems to be okay. Yeah, kind of. This is just downward trend volume. So two areas to watch then, basically. We're either watching the break of this point of control, which is at $77 exactly for a short, or we're looking for a change of trend potentially, and that'll be if we have to break 79.33. So we've got to get above that pivot. And on the hourly, that looks like these two areas. So break of yesterday's high, we can watch for a break and retest. Maybe high risk would be for watch for the break, retest of the pre-market high area, which is also this 50 moving average and the trend line. That's a higher risk, but you've got more going for it. So slightly less than high risk, more than medium risk. Or we can watch for the bounce back down here at the pre-market low or on the trend line. So they're the two plays for today, I think. Break and retest of the trend line, and that would be around 78.20 area. And then you've got lots of volume in this area as well, which makes it hard to go long, because if you look over here, they've got the point of control, all the volume runs down this area as well, so it's going to be hard to get through that volume. But if you can watch the break and retest of yesterday's high, then you've got hardly any volume here for potential big run up to maybe 80, 81, or maybe where we get to this 200 moving average there. So that's my plan for oil. I'm going to put some alerts in place, do that now. Put an alert on the trend line, and I'm going to put an alert if we break over through that point, through all this extra volume we can see. And if we come back down to here, I'll put an alert in at pre-market low area. So 3 alerts. And I don't want to be sitting in front of my computer. I really want to play the alerts fire. They come up on my phone as well at the same time. So it doesn't matter if I'm out in the garden, or I can just come back and value the charts then. Okay, so this is gold. I don't trade gold that often. It's something I want to get back into. Still in an hourly downtrend. We need to get over, so we've still got the levels in place from yesterday, so the only place I'm watching really, you can watch yesterday's high break and retest with a target at 223.42, point of control is just above as well, lots of volume over here, and happens to be an area of confluence as well, so even though we've got all the volume, You see bottoms of pivots there, bottom pivots there, break and retest, a retest there, retest there, retest, retest, and we've yet to retest it since. So if we come up into that area, you can watch for rejection, but we can also watch for break and retest long. So 23.43, let's put an alert in there. The reason I didn't put alerts in ES because I have that open all the time, which I will put some alerts in a minute. But these charts I very rarely have open. And then if we break pre-market low, I'm not looking to go short, I don't think, on this trade yet. Still pretty strong. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I quite like the bounce down there still at 2301. 2300 psychological number. Okay, RTY. It's been quite strong recently. And then a big sell-off today. If I were to find a bounce area, it's got to be this area of confidence there. In fact, I'm going to draw in a zone for this because we could be looking at this area of demand down here. You can see point of control just below as well. Bottoms are pivots, tops are pivots. Maybe that's a little bit early. Maybe we could keep an eye on this. We could use this as our stop actually. We've got the 200 moving average moving up as well through 2020 as well. So I do quite like this area. I'll put an alert in, but we may not get there today. I can't see any more bounces really, I think, yet until we get down to those areas. Rejection wise, if we get up to pre-market high or yesterday's low, we can watch this area for potential rejection. 2070. I'll just put I meant to put an alert level in. Let's change that to an hourly. I'll leave the alert there because it'd be nice to be alerted if we do get up that way. And we'll also be rejecting off the 50 moving average and the 20, and obviously we've got two levels, pre-market low and yesterday's low, pre-market high and yesterday's low as well there. Okay, YM, which is the Dow Jones. You can just about see a head and shoulders pattern. It depends, it's subjective to where you think the shoulders are. Potentially a shoulder there, you could say that's a shoulder. This is the head, and I like that as the right shoulder. If we get into this area here, that's why 39,000 I meant for a rejection. I've been calling this 3900, I meant 39,000. That's the rejection area. Tops of the candles, bottoms of candles, tops of candles. Looks like an area, good area of confidence. And if you follow the line to the left, we've got this big area of volume as well. So we've got this volume shelf there, this volume shelf. So I do quite like that potential natural resistance. 39,010 is the actual figure. Bounce wise, and obviously if we break pre-market high, then we can look for long into yesterday's high and maybe use yesterday's high as an add, a break and retest. Got a big void until we get up to this area at 39,200 and 39,300 area. Bounce wise, yeah, I like this area. So the only bounce is 38,822, and I like that because we've got a bottom pivot there, bottom pivots here, tops of candles there. You can see pivots there, plenty here as well, and it's near to these ones as well. Like I said, I don't treat it as a line, I always say this, it's a region. And we're coming into volume just below as well, which could act as natural resistance below. So that's the region I like to use, and we've got the volume shelf down below. So the numbers I give are not just a number you must get in that number. You know, you can use that area as a guide. So you know, you're coming into that area, you can look for a potential reversal in this area. That's a better size. You know, sometimes the reversal's a bit below, sometimes they're a bit above. That's it. Let's quickly look at Bitcoin. Again, you've got the head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break, retest of the neckline in the pre-market high area. If we break this 200 moving average, then just here, hidden underneath that 62 level. If we break that, then our next target area will be 58. That's an area to watch for a bounce. You can see this inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I know it's a bit of a wonky one, but the shoulders are actually right at the level. So we can watch 58,900 area for a bounce, potentially. As you know from previous videos, I'm not going to do anything unless we get down to probably the 50s. I want to get into the low 50s, 52,000, 50. This is the area I really like. I'm going to put in a demand. I like seeing these on the chart. I'm going to make it a bit wider. Normally I only use 1 or 2 candles, but we are looking at the hourly, so if we go into the daily, here we go. Yeah, so that's the area I like, exactly where I want it on the daily as well actually. So, and the 200, so I'm watching that area for a potential bounce. I'm probably going to add some more Bitcoin if we get down there, but we are in a downtrend. Broken that pivot, and we've got this pivot. This is our goal. If we can get below 56,000, what is that, 56,500 area, then, and we put in a new low down, then we could be watching for another downtrend. Okay, so as I said, let's just quickly look at ES, and then 3 or 4 minutes before the market opens. Go back into the hourly. So just to recap quickly, I'm watching for a rejection at 52.04, which is yesterday's low area. It's below these moving averages, which are now crossing each other. We've crossed the 50, the 20 is about to cross the 50 as well, which shows a bit of weakness in the market. So I'm watching 52.04 for rejection. I'll probably consider this area up here as well. If we break over pre-market high, I'm looking for a break and retest long, and that is at 52.17. And then bounce wise, I'm not a big fan of this area here for a bounce, but I'll watch it at 51.70. Reason is there's not much volume in that area, but I do like this big volume area, massive big volume shell. Point of control runs through it. It's also a 50% fibs area on a daily, and it's also a psychological number, 51.50. So I do like that area. That's my prime area to watch today for a bounce if we get down there. Most likely, I probably won't be around tomorrow. I may be around for the first hour, but Friday I won't be around. I'm at a funeral, unfortunately. So I'll try and do my levels, but if I'm not around, keep an eye on this area tomorrow, Friday, for a bounce. And we've got this area up here for a rejection tomorrow or Friday as well. If we can get up there, 52, it's basically 52.50, 51.50. Just think of the 50s. Okay, so next is the order flow, which I will show the screen. This is in my order flow screen. Anything unusual happening before the market opens? No, cumulative delta divergence is a little bit, we're showing like a neutral sideways action on price. We're having a downward, matching each other. It looks like it's got more negative aggressive selling and buyers at the moment. And you can see that through the delta bar as well. Okay, market's just opened. We'll just keep an eye on this for a few minutes. So I'm not looking to trade until I hit my levels, so I've got plenty of time, so I'll keep the stream running until cumulative delta starts. So we've got 4 on that candle there. Shows a lack of interest from buyers, but that was pre-market volume. What I'm watching for is negative and positive deltas. So you had a positive delta in that bar, 340. It's for an opening candle, it's quite low really. We've got a negative 300, that means there's more aggressive sellers. Even though it looks like slightly green, this candle, there's more aggressive selling going on right now. This candle's not closed yet. And if you go over to the 5 minute on the left chart, we've got the delta. It's quite a neutral one. It was down near zero, and we've got a great green bar. So that's to me, that's an alarm bell. We've still got 3.5 minutes left though. So, but look at the previous candle. There's only a positive 100 out of the volume. There's 7,000 transactions. 100 of them were more aggressive than the. It shows you it's a neutral candle as well. So we're coming into volume as well. Absorption in this area, but generally I want to see the absorption at the top end of the candle, not the bottom end. So that could be buyers, aggressive buying, limit orders being triggered. Right, I'm going to load up the order flow next. So just tune back into this channel and you'll see order flow, which will be live in 2 seconds. Okay, thank you for watching.